I don't know if there's any words to describe it. When you see the Air Force One plane, excuse me, fly off.
You're tearing up. Why are you getting so emotional?
I don't know. I guess because I always wanted to see it, you know.
A day full of emotion for people across the Tennessee Valley as President Obama touched down in Chattanooga to talk jobs and rising wages.
We were there from the moment he touched down at the Chattanooga airport to the moment his plane took off, and of course all of the stops in between. Chattanooga was the first stop on the president's Better Bargain for the Middle Class tour.
It's a topic that hits home for the people in the Tennessee Valley. During his speech at Amazon at their fulfillment center, the president said this.
Chattanooga, the problem is not that we don't have ideas about how we could create even more jobs. We've got a lot of ideas out there. We keep on shifting our attention away from what we should be focused on, which is how do we strengthen the middle class and grow the economy for everybody.
Our colleagues David Carroll and Cindy Sexton and Antoine Harris were inside Amazon as the president gave his address.
And today he challenged Congress to come up with ideas to help push the middle class forward.
Hello, Chattanooga.
President Obama takes the stage at Amazon with his push to help the middle class.
A national strategy to make sure that every single person who's willing to work hard in this country has a chance to succeed in the 21st century economy.
The president is calling for Congress to lower corporate taxes and use tax incentives to replace what he calls America's crumbling infrastructure.
Put people to work immediately on our most urgent repairs, like the 100,000 bridges that are old enough to qualify for Medicare.
As Amazon announced adding more jobs earlier this week, new hires like Sarah Foster breathe a sigh of relief. She's been out of work for a year and hopes a new jobs plan will put more Chattanoogans to work.
And I credit the president for helping everybody to get jobs. You know, I know he had probably a big part in this.
Now, this is all part of a multi-state, multi-city tour that the president is working on, so you can expect to hear this message, David and Cindy, for the next couple of weeks.
Well, hundreds of people lined up along the streets of Chattanooga to see the president today.
Some of them supporters, others, of course, protesting the president's policies. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matt Barber tells us more about the protesters in just a moment, but we begin with Dan Kennedy. Dan?
Plenty of folks were staged outside Bonnie Oaks on that entrance thinking they might have a chance to see the president today.
And despite those disagreements, people protested very peacefully here today.
Air Force One took off about 3:13 this afternoon.
The Channel 3 Eyewitness News team brought you live minute-by-minute coverage of the presidential visit.
This is something here.
With balanced coverage.
And of course, there's so much mixed reaction here.
They deem themselves a nonpartisan grassroots effort.
Interviews and reactions.
You actually got to meet the president. Tell me about that.
Yes, I did. Oh, he's just so down to earth.
The excitement and emotion. Channel 3 brought it all to you without commercial interruption and with closed captioning. That's coverage you can count on.
This was different than the other type of flooding we had. That was just normal flooding. This was flash flooding because it came down so hard, and we'll show you in a second where the heaviest rain was. And then out in your South Pittsburgh and just south of Jasper, a good 3 to 4 inches of rain. And we've gotten reports out of South Pittsburgh. This is remarkable. 3 feet of water running down several streets in South Pittsburgh. Also reports of water flowing through homes.
And they have a big mess to deal with in the coming days in South Pittsburgh. The entire town is hit hard by floods, especially downtown businesses. South Pittsburgh emergency crews performed multiple rescue and evacuations last night, including the entire first floor of a senior apartment complex. They're all safe. Dawkins says some areas are without power and several trees are down, blocking area roadways.
Tonight, live team coverage from South Pittsburgh. People are still shocked by the amount of flooding they saw, the debris that was left, and for the work it's going to take to clean up. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Carrie Lynn Galiotis kicks off our team coverage. Carrie Lynn.
Yeah, it's been a long day for the citizens and city officials here in South Pittsburgh, and for some of them, the shock is wearing off into the reality of the cleanup process that lies ahead.
Welcome to downtown South Pittsburgh. Floodwaters wash cars like this white Lexus all around town, and debris left behind from the storm, including rocks from South Pittsburgh Mountain. But this is only where the damage begins.
A week-long round-the-clock build to give a wounded soldier a new home is well underway. It is something to see. Specialist Andrew Smith lost both legs when he stepped on an IED while on patrol in Afghanistan last year. When he's released from Walter Reed Army Medical Center, a local organization wants to make sure he has a place to call home. A home fit for a hero. Channel 3 Eyewitness News anchor Callie Starnes is live from the build.
After a year of planning, the hammers are swinging. The house, you can see behind me, the walls are up. They're working now to get the roof framed so that they can begin hopefully putting shingles on it by about 9 o'clock tonight.
Good morning, Jed. I am inside that house right now. Yesterday, we were standing in this exact same spot, but we were just standing on foundation and there was no roof over our head, but that's all changed today. Go ahead and take a look around. There is a roof, and volunteers are here working around the clock all week long, making sure Andrew and his wife Tori have a home in 6 days. It'll be their first home together ever. They've been living in Maryland at Walter Reed for the past year.
And something else you can find at WRCBTV.com. You can watch live as volunteers build a home in Appleton for a wounded soldier. Since Thursday, hundreds of people have been working around the clock on the project, the Steps to Hope project, for specialist Andrew Smith, who lost both of his legs in Afghanistan.
But from this point on, what happens inside is going to be a surprise to Andrew and Tori. Now, Andrew, who lost both legs in Afghanistan last year, has been cruising around the build site all week long, using an all-terrain wheelchair to navigate. Now, he and Tori have watched as those hundreds of volunteers have worked around the clock. They've had the chance to shake their hands, say thank you, which has been really meaningful to the people out here. But at this point, Andrew and Tori, along with their families, their parents, extended family, everybody, they've all been asked to stay away until Thursday when the keys are handed their way. So all the cosmetic elements and interior will be a surprise to them.
In just moments, they will be handed over the keys to their new home.
But it was a big party here this afternoon as Andrew and Tori got a look at their new home.
Wow! Hey, you watching? Hello!
From the limo ride up the driveway lined with family and friends, specialist Andrew Smith and his wife Tori liked what they saw.
We're just so grateful. The Lord's been so good to us. Really.
A quick prayer at the front steps.
Lord, I thank you so much for all these people and this blessing.
Then they got a look at their new home built by 1,100 volunteers in just a week.
Ladies first.
All right.
Hey! Yeah.
Wow.
This is awesome.
From the stacked stone fireplace to the larger-than-life kitchen built to allow Andrew to move around.
Words don't say it. Words don't say enough.
There's the master bathroom with handicap-accessible shower and the storm shelter built to protect the couple should another natural disaster hit Appleton.
You like it? You need a better word than like.
Yeah, you need a better word than like.
This is absolutely a biggest blessing other than him coming back alive.
But the icing on the cake, a gun range built by the Chattanooga SWAT team, a place for Andrew to do what he loves, shoot.
Oh, he's about this off.
Are you gonna let it go?
Yeah, I'm letting
it go.
All right.
All right, you gonna let it go?
And he didn't waste any time. It's a home built for a hero, and for a couple who has called Walter Reed Medical Center home for more than a year, it couldn't be more perfect.
We're on an emotional high right now. I mean, we knew it would be amazing and incredible, but with the people that were involved, but we didn't think it would be anything like. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Now, once cleared from Walter Reed, Andrew and Tori will be able to officially move in. We want to give a big thanks to the 1,100 volunteers that made this possible.
As Channel 3 ventures to Oklahoma with the local Red Cross.
In fact, as we pan the camera just ahead of us, we are just outside of Memphis, Tennessee, and there's our Red Cross truck right here in front of us. One thing we will do is continue to update you on Facebook, Twitter, 536 all day for the next few days on everything that takes place, and we'll just pretty much tell you their stories through our lens. That's the latest here live right outside of Memphis. Antoine Harris, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Channel 3 left Chattanooga yesterday along with the Red Cross emergency response vehicle. Antoine Harris arrived in Moore, Oklahoma this afternoon and joins us now live.
Right now we are waiting for those volunteers to get here. In fact, they are still receiving their orders, and they say that this will be one of their largest recovery efforts.
Well, no surveillance video, no pictures today. We're counting on someone who knows something about this case to come forward. We're hoping that the offer of anonymity, reward cash, and the plea of a devastated mother will convince someone out there to do the right thing.
My family hurt every day. I wake up and I wonder how.
Nearly 3 years have passed since her son was killed, and Keisha Taylor is no closer to finding answers.
No days are easy. No days. Some are harder.
This heartbroken mother brings her story of loss to Crime Stoppers for help.
He was my firstborn, and you know, we have birthdays coming up, and it's hard for me to smile now on my birthdays.
June 14th, a birthday Antonio Taylor shared with her. He was only 28 when he was gunned down in his home on Wandale Trail very early that July morning in 2010. Taylor, whom his mother calls Trell, was a new father and was about to get married. Full disclosure here, Taylor had a criminal history, although very short. He was with his cousin the night of the murder. His cousin has admitted to police the two were here smoking pot and watching movies that evening. Police have said they believe the shooting may have been the result of a burglary gone bad, but put all of that aside. The whys will come out in court. Taylor didn't deserve death, and whoever pulled the trigger certainly does not deserve to walk free. Someone out there can give this family some peace. Someone knows what happened inside this house.
It's for his memory, it's for his family, it's for everyone, that all his friends which adored him, teachers, pastors, neighbors, grandparents, nieces, nephews, his son especially. He only got to be with his son for 5 months.
The little boy turned 3 in January.
He's going to grow up, and he's going to ask questions.
For him and the family, Keisha Taylor makes a heartfelt plea for justice.
Don't allow any mother to live the pain that I'm living. Don't let any child have to be lost growing up, not knowing. And for yourself, just do the right thing.
If you can help us, there's up to $1,000 reward cash waiting, and no one, not police, not prosecutors, friends, family, nor people in your neighborhood will ever know it was you who provided the tip. Call Crime Stoppers at 698-3333. It's time to close this case and give this family some peace.
You can imagine how loud it is right now. Perfect timing. The men's road race is actually ending right now. Take a listen. This is the excitement level we're dealing with. About 15 riders vying for one spot, and they're within 2 seconds of each other, about, I would say 200 yards down the street. The race was ending. Phil Guyman, who had the lead for the past 20 miles, was being passed at the finish line by Freddie Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, David Carroll with Cindy Sexton. Here's what's happening on Live at 5. We have breaking news into our Channel 3 newsroom. A man is holed up in Collegedale on Prospect Church Road. Several police units are on the scene. Details are limited, but here's what we know. The situation started as disorderly conduct, and the suspect is in the home and is not cooperating with police at this moment. Now, we're told the man's mother is in the home with him, but she apparently is there willingly. Now, he has threatened police.
We just got reports and confirmed from police that there were just a couple of gunshots fired. New details we can tell you. The mother, the woman inside of the house, she has safely exited the home. She came out on her own free will. About 30 minutes ago, we heard smoke bombs going off and police demanding the suspect come out with his hands in the air. He eventually did, and he is now in police custody. After 8.5 hours, the standoff is finally over.
We begin with that breaking news in Marion County. The suspect of a Tennessee statewide Amber Alert was caught in Marion County.
Now, there are some mixed reports coming in, but Nashville officials tell us that 3 tractor-trailer drivers blocked the suspect's car. that had the missing child inside.
Those truck drivers really are the hero in this story. The statewide Amber Alert was canceled late this afternoon when 2-year-old Cale Whitehead and his father were found here right off the Kimball exit here in Marion County, right off Interstate 24. Now, Houston County authorities say 23-year-old Austin Whitehead took his son from their home this morning after making some threats of suicide. They were concerned about his safety, but especially the safety of the 2-year-old after his mother called police. So next, police issued that Amber Alert statewide for Whitehead's 2003 Pontiac Grand Am. And that description was released again across the state. It was 3 truck drivers who noticed that car here at this exit. They called police immediately. We have conflicting reports about whether or not they actually blocked the car in so that police could get here to the scene. But we are told that the 2-year-old is safe. His mother is en route to come pick him up. As for his father, Austin Whitehead, he is being held at the Marion County Jail tonight. Cindy, David, I can also tell you that we have touched base with one of those truck drivers, one of the 3 that are being called heroes in this whole scenario. You will hear from one of those truck drivers coming up tonight at 11. And again, authorities say it's because of their quick thinking that this ended as it did.
Now some breaking news out of Catoosa County where a shooting has been confirmed. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Megan Brantley is live on the scene and joins us now with the latest. Megan?
2 men attempted to break into the home, not realizing that the homeowner was still there. The homeowner then shot at the 2 suspects, ended up hitting one of them in the neck. That's when the 2 suspects actually fled down the street and ended up on Boynton Drive, where police met them. They tell me that that there wasn't a pursuit involved because the individual who had been shot needed medical attention.
You know, more than 500,000 people here. And of course, of that 500,000, about a couple hundred of them are Chattanoogians. We had a chance to bump into some of the locals here, and they were so excited to see, you know, us here covering it, as well as being a part of the inauguration itself.
I can tell the world, yes, about this.
The 200-member chorus of Lee University harmonizes on the same platform where President Obama is sworn in. The group was handpicked by Senator Lamar Alexander, who was instrumental in the planning of the inaugural festivities. He says members of Lee University sang for him years ago when he was elected governor of Tennessee.
So I know about your musical ability, I know about your sense of patriotism, I know what the college stands for, and I thought there couldn't possibly be a better group to represent our country, really, not just our state.
And we're so happy to say about that ticket sales are going so well.
They've done fantastic. Would you believe it? We only have 100 tickets left for this home. They're only $100 a piece. And throughout the course of the next 2 hours, you're going to meet some of the patients that money goes to help, and some incredible people that are currently in treatment, and some who are survivors and have quite the story to tell. So we're looking forward to introducing them.
And this is the point in time when I usually say something to the camera to make those people who are on the fence to call in, to get a ticket, to get them to go ahead and make that call and buy that ticket. We're out of tickets this year, and that's a good problem to have, right?
It's a great problem to have, and hopefully next year there's going to be more tickets available to sell, and hopefully I can come on and say, guys, get on the phone and make that call.
You said there's really no other place that you could imagine your son being in the time that you guys went through what you did.
No, we were, my son was a patient at St. Jude's for 4 years, and like we shared with you, when we pulled in that parking garage, it was a safe haven. We knew we were safe and that Cody was well taken care of.
Well, we have sold all the tickets for this year's Dream Home.
I sold the last one.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
The 2013 Chattanooga St. Jude Dream Home winner is...
She's working for it.
Betty.
Betty.
No, Betty, you read it.
You read it, Betty.
Here we go.
Ellen Brian. This is how much money you raised. Take it away. There you go.
There you go. You wanted
There's it.
It's $711,475.61.
Yeah.
David, how about it?
Wonderful. Thanks to everybody who helped out.
Most spots picked up anywhere from 1.5 to even 2 inches of rain just over a few hours.
Primarily looking at 4 to 5 inches of rain from Murphy
down to Dalton and into Fort Payne.
The South Chickamauga Creek reached action stage this afternoon. That's when it broke 16 feet. Some problems with the creek come when we reach 18 feet, which it's expected to do tomorrow afternoon around 3 p.m.
Well, this torrential rain that started last night has not let up.
You can use the WRCB weather app for the Droid, the iPhone, and the iPad to watch the system move through.
And then we have flood warnings in effect. A flood watch is in effect for all of our area.
For the past 7 days or so, we've had about 5.5 inches of rain in the city.
Good morning, Jed. Right now, the creek is well over the flood stage of 18 feet, and as you mentioned, it crested right around 23 feet. That's considered the moderate flood stage, so the worst may be over per se.
What a difference a day makes. We've gone from flooding this week to a winter weather advisory across the Tennessee Valley.
The biggest concern right now, as you have mentioned before, is black ice. Right now, they're concerned that all of the rain that has been accumulating since Sunday will freeze over. Now, as you can see, it's beginning to snow here.
More than a week of heavy rain, flooding, snow, and ice. Mother Nature's just getting started. No matter what kind of winter weather she throws at us, you can count on Paul Barris and the Channel 3 Storm Alert team. We'll keep you informed on air, online, on Facebook and Twitter, and with free apps for your smartphone. And when the weather hits, turn to Channel 3 for live team coverage, road conditions, and the latest delays and closings. Now that's weather coverage you can count on.
Scratched doors, dented door frames, and scuffed walls. That's all damage left by one man's wheelchair. And that damage has prompted the Chattanooga Housing Authority to evict him.
But a Hamilton County chancellor says not so fast. Legal aid has stepped in, and folks are hoping to keep Jeffrey Henson off the streets. They contacted 3 on Your Side to investigate. Channel 3 Eyewitness News anchor Callie Starnes joins us live in the studio with this story. Callie.
Greg, Cindy, Jeffrey Henson suffers from a degenerative disease that has left him confined to a wheelchair. His public housing apartment is technically handicap accessible, but as you're about to see, it's too small for him to move around. It's a battle just getting in and out his front door. Now he has yet another battle to fight.
Now I can't walk as good as I did.
It's been 4 years since 51-year-old Jeffrey Henson was diagnosed with cerebellar degeneration. His mind is still sharp as ever, but the part of his brain that controls balance, muscle coordination, and speech is failing him. It's the same disease that took his dad at age 53 and his brother when he was just 44.
I manage.
Henson manages with the help of a wheelchair. But while the apartment he lives in has a few handicap accessible features, it isn't large enough for his chair.
It's narrow. It's too narrow.
His chair has scraped walls, doors, and their frames. A friend has attempted to repair the damage, but now the Chattanooga Housing Authority says Henson has to go.
I was devastated.
The notice cited that he had caused extensive damage to his apartment.
Henson contacted legal aid to represent him in an eviction grievance hearing, but says the property manager denied him that opportunity.
I wanted someone to speak up for me, and she said I didn't need nobody.
Now Emily O'Donnell is filing suit on Henson's behalf. Today, a judge granted a restraining order against CHA. The authority cannot take any further action until the case is heard in court.
He's being evicted essentially for being disabled, and that's a violation of state and federal fair housing law.
O'Donnell is hoping CHA will recognize the error and allow Henson to stay or move him to an apartment that accommodates his disability. Henson says he just wants to live out his days in a home and not on the streets.
Stay here and live comfortable.
Now, we contacted the Housing Authority for comment on this story. Executive Director Betsy McCride referred us to CHA's attorney, saying we would need written consent from Mr. Henson for CHA to discuss his case. We have submitted that to the attorney and are still waiting for response. If both sides can't reach an agreement, the case will head to court October 8th. Henson's attorney hopes it won't come to that. His wheelchair is broken and getting him downtown for a court hearing is near impossible. We'll keep you posted. Live in the studio, Callie Starnes, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And 1 week after the Chattanooga Housing Authority said it would evict a man for damage caused by his wheelchair to the doors and walls, the organization They say, no, they're taking it all back. After seeing a story last week, Goodwill of Chattanooga gave Jeffrey Henson a new wheelchair. It all took place yesterday to replace his broken one. Meanwhile, CHA sent Henson and his attorney a letter saying it no longer plans to throw the guy out for the damage caused by that handicap-accessible apartment home. Now, CHA told Henson's attorney its intent was not to evict the man, but move him to an assisted living facility. Henson's attorney says that is still a violation of his fair housing rights. She plans to head to court on his behalf.
John Schulman questioned how his young team would respond in his first Southern Conference tournament, and the answer is really well. For the first 30 minutes, the Mocs owned the game, but in the final 10, it all slipped away. Getting them within one with a minute to play, they draw it up to go to Ashlyn Dewart. She misses not once, but twice. But Kayla Christopher open on the backside for the putback, giving UTC a 1-point lead with 8 seconds to play.
Ashlyn and Taylor, both do a great job crashing the boards, so they were able to keep it alive. And then apparently I looked really athletic, so it's kind of unlike me, but it was just the right place at the right time.
All they needed was a miss, and they got one. Laura Murray's shot no good at the buzzer, and it's time to celebrate. UTC finishes its first double-digit comeback to win 64-63, clinching its first NCAA tournament bid since 2010 with its 14th tournament title.
Day 2 of the SEC Media Days in Hoover, Alabama coming to a close. And despite what you may have heard, there were other teams on the podium today without a quarterback named Johnny Manziel. For one, Tennessee and first-year head coach Butch Jones. He got a taste of the bright lights and what the unofficial kickoff to college football is really all about.
How are we doing? It exceeded expectations, but again, it's the SEC. Anything the SEC does is the best of the best.
29th annual Share Your Christmas, Jed.
It is so nice to be down here again this year, and so many people are in need of your support.
It is our 29th annual Share Your Christmas food drive. A lot of folks have been out here since very early this morning.
Now I have joining me here Kristen West from Rockbridge Community Church. I want to ask her a couple of questions about a new program. They are now helping serve Murray County. First drop with some of the food that's been donated was in the middle of last month, and the important thing is how the people reacted who received your help.
That's correct. There were several that did not know really where their next meal was coming from in our community, and this program gave them that hope and that opportunity to have a meal not only for that night, but to last them perhaps for the next several days.
Morning from the Life Care Center in Cleveland. I know it's just a little before noon now, and I want to say we just breached 1,700 pounds. And as I speak, I don't know if you can get this, Scott, but we just got a full busload of elementary school students from Charleston Elementary who have come to help out.
Are you ready for some numbers?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to bring in Megan Jones from the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. Megan, thank you very much. You've been here a long time, but it's been a good day.
It's been a great day. We've raised over 400,000 meals worth of food today.
Well, we're in the era of the iPad now, so the writing is on the wall, and that writing is no longer in cursive. The loops, the curlicues, the connected letters, an art form once practiced with pride in classrooms across America. But now?
So I would say it's there, but it's not a priority anymore.
Julie Legg is Hamilton County's Director of Literacy in elementary schools. She makes sure today's students excel on standardized tests like TCAP. Cursive writing is not on the test, nor will it be in the future.
The trend now is technology and texting and emailing, word processing, and that is where kids spend probably more of their time than they do with a pencil and paper.
Big Ridge Elementary 4th grade teacher Wida Bianco is having to adapt, just like the rest of us. The 28-year classroom veteran has taught these kids well. But as for cursive writing, there just aren't enough hours in the school day.
It just confuses me, and I can't connect the letters, and I've just never really understood how to write cursive.
All of it just takes a lot of practice to do.
Is it boring?
Yeah.
Most of these 4th graders can sign their names in cursive, and some even can read a little of my combination manuscript and cursive. But without daily instruction and practice, you won't see them taking notes in cursive anytime soon.
And it was kind of sad at first, I'll admit. I was like, golly, you know, but I've learned to live with it. It's not a deal breaker for me.
We know kids are going to have to sign their name. We know kids are going to have to be able to read cursive writing at some point. As far as a real life skill, it's really not that anymore.
Not a real life skill? Don't say that to Linda Harris.
Well, I think it's sad. I do. I love the written word. I think it's pretty.
Linda is a retired teacher who says good handwriting runs in her family. After getting many compliments on her own writing, she took up calligraphy as a hobby. She compares it to other forms of art and questions the wisdom of eliminating it as a learning tool.
I think hand-eye coordination is great, and handwriting has a lot to do with how well you do other things.
But does cursive writing have to disappear completely? Not according to some teachers who say parents are perfectly welcome to keep the tradition alive at home. Otherwise, how will these kids read that birthday note from Grandma or respond to a handwritten invitation?
But I do think that any help at home, anything that parents can do, we say go for it. Go for it.
I just think kids enjoy it. I really do. It's not something that they don't like to do. Anything artistic children like. You know, 30 minutes a day doing something that the children love, there's not anything wrong with that.
The news isn't all bad for cursive fans. Some states are trying to keep it alive. In fact, Georgia is among 3 states still mandating cursive instruction, at least for the time being. The soon-to-be implemented Common Core national standards do not require cursive writing, but they don't prohibit teaching it either. The trick, according to teachers, is just finding time to do it.
Get it all on Channel 3 Friday Night Football. Every Friday night at 11, we bring the big plays and highlights home to you. All the scores, all the spirit, all the fun from the Eyewitness Sports Team. Sponsored by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Paul Shaheen and Jordan Tippett had to get there earlier, risk not getting there at all. They join us live from Hooterville. What's up, guys?
Yeah, Keith, the crowd definitely did not let us down on both sides of the field today. Now, East Hamilton head coach Ted Gatewood said coming in, a crosstown rivalry like this one, you have to hold up your end of the bargain, and they flat out have not done that. 3 games with Ottawa, 3 losses. Now, of course, a win tonight could help ease the pain of those 3 losses, right?
Well, changes are ahead for the city of Chattanooga. For the first time in 8 years, a new mayor will take office.
Andy Burke won the mayoral race in a landslide this evening, getting more than 70% of the vote. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matt Barber was at the Burke victory celebration tonight. He begins our team coverage. Matt.
Well, Greg, Burke told the crowd in his words he will work tirelessly for the next 4 years to justify the honor of being selected as the next mayor.
There are several new faces joining the Chattanooga City Council. It was a rough night for the incumbents on the council. Of the 7, 3 lost, 2 will head to a runoff, and 2 more will return.
What an honor to have you sitting here, the first television interview the day after the election. You said last night, time for renewal. What does that mean, actually?
Well, it means to renew our commitment to the city, to each other, to say that the bonds that join us are so strong that if we come together, all of us, black and white, rich and poor, Democrats and Republicans, we can truly build a better city.
This morning, the newly elected mayor and city council were officially sworn into office. 7 of the 9 members of Chattanooga City Council are new. Russell Gilbert and Carol Burrs are the 2 returning members, and Burrs is now the only woman who holds a seat on the council.
At least 2 people have been killed and dozens hurt near the finish line of the marathon.
There are some 20 people we know of from the Chattanooga area who took part in the Boston Marathon. Several, of course, spectators as well.
And we've been able to reach one of them by phone, Dr. Joni Somparak, a professor at UTC. She is there in Boston, and her husband Ryan ran today's race. And Joni joins us right now.
I didn't see the explosions. I heard them, and there was a lot of chaos.
We have Mike Dunn in our newsroom. He is a 20-year veteran of the Boston Marathon. And just your gut reaction when you first heard about this?
I'm heartbroken. Even more so as I watched that special report, the live feed that we just had, because that's the first time I've actually heard the impact of the explosion, and to see those people and see them knocked down. And you just have to know that the impact was catastrophic for the people surrounding there. And
Well, it is day 2 of the government shutdown, and it's looking a lot like day 1. Tourists are being turned away from national parks and monuments, even those with big wedding plans. And we found one couple right here in our own backyard.
Oh my God, it's on the front page of the paper. What are you going to do about your wedding? Point Park is shut down. And I just had to set the phone down.
The bride-to-be never imagined 6 months ago her fairy tale wedding would face a grim reality.
Now, since the government has shut down, everyone's losing money. This park's losing about $800 a day from visitors. And what about Katrina's refund on her deposit? Well, she won't see that anytime soon.
You do a crazy face or a crazy gesture.
They may just be in middle school, but their nearly lifelong bond and friendship is very strong. Now one member of the group is facing the toughest challenge of his young life. He suffers from a rare disease, Duchenne, a devastating muscle disease in children.
Makes me really sad, and I just hope we find a cure soon.
That's why when Mackenzie Crawford's deteriorating condition caused him to take a horrific fall, his friends knew they wanted to help.
When Mackenzie fell down the stairs and broke his arm, I wanted to do something. So we set up a bike-a-thon.
Without hesitation, the boys went to work planning with the help of their parents.
I knew someday that we would have to do something, but I didn't think, like a while back, I didn't think it was necessary, but now I do think it needs to be done.
And tell me why.
Well, I just think as the disease progresses, it gets harder for him to walk upstairs and walk long distances.
And that's been hard for Mackenzie's parents to watch.
It's hard to see, and then, he'll come in the house, and just because he knows he's tired and he's reached his limits, and, his friends are still, running strong outside.
With Duchenne, the simplest of tasks become difficult. And in the latter stages, heart and breathing muscles begin to fail.
This disease is rare. There are approximately 20,000 boys across the country living with Duchenne. And while most of them are in a wheelchair by age 12, Mackenzie is beating the odds.
He's a typical 13-year-old, full of life, who enjoys being with his friends. Both Mackenzie and his family are grateful for his special friends.
It just really has just touched our hearts, and just, they're just really a blessing for Mackenzie to have.
And though he's a young man of few words, Mackenzie says he wouldn't trade his friends for anything in the world. This life-threatening situation has brought them all closer and made their bond just that much stronger. The only reward these guys want is to raise a lot of money and help find a cure so their best friend can get better.
Dylan and Star love playing outside. Almost any activity will do, but both have their favorites.
Mine is either swimming or going shopping.
Playing soccer and playing basketball. I mostly like being the goalie because I can drop kick very far.
They both love school, and they're doing well after several years in foster care, where they're experiencing security and affirmation. They've also learned to be polite.
When we came into foster care, we didn't learn any manners until we came in here.
Star and Dylan talked about what they'd like to have in a forever family.
I asked Star and I that question, and I said love.
I said support.
A forever family will be there forever, and that's the whole idea. Yeah.
That's why it's called a forever family.
He has to make everything exactly.
And that's
like
good.
he says. Yeah.
Star and Dylan will be happy in any size family, and their upbeat personalities will shine. The good news is they'll be kept together.
And she is the best sister I've ever had.
Please do not forget about our Utility Assistance Helpline. It's going on right now. There they are. They're standing by, volunteers to help you with assistance with your utility bills, how to make your home more energy efficient. The live lines are open, 266-5483.
Throughout 2013, the Eyewitness News team found story after story of people helping people.
I just thank from the bottom of my heart.
There's an urgent need for extra food here, and this helps.
Without neighbors, where would you be, honestly?
They didn't feel like anybody cared.
Thank you for watching, responding, and reaching out to make our community better. That's coverage you can count on.